Hello, welcome to another episode of Smell Good, Feel Good Fragrance. It has been too long. I have had a couple of hectic months, so I apologise, but thank you for those that have stayed subscribed. Thank you to those that have subscribed in the little hiatus that I have had. I switched jobs, as I mentioned a while back, and a couple of things have meant that I've been doing the work of a couple of different people because of people being ill, people being on holiday, etc. So it's been a bit of a baptism by fire, and unfortunately it meant that when I came home from work I actually had lots of work to do when I came in, and I really haven't had time, unfortunately, to make videos that are the quality that I would want to put out, and that, I feel that, subscribers deserve a decent quality of video. So thanks for sticking around. Hopefully, I've said it a couple of times, but hopefully I am back for good now that everything has settled. I want to talk about a fragrance today, and a fragrance house that I discovered thanks to Chris over at Fragmental. Started with a couple of perfumier smelling cheap budget fragrances, etc. And I've been a fan of those videos, and I've been a fan of his own videos as well. So I want to talk about Aaron Terrence Hughes. Like I said, I started watching his videos from Fragmental. He's obviously now started his own channel and does some really great reviews. I'll pop the links down below. If you haven't had a chance, do go and check in. I wanted to start because when I was doing some research on Aaron himself and his fragrances, the first things I found on things like Fragrantica and stuff were some really odd comments. Just to be clear, he's a small setup. Of course, small setups exist. And I know there have been some people complaining, oh, he's making these fragrances in his kitchen, it's not, professional. But actually, if you think back to, let's say, Creed is a great example, right? Yeah, Creed now is a huge multinational company. But when they originally set up, yeah, of course, hundreds of years ago, the whole perfume industry originated from small individuals making small crafted perfumes. And that's now grown into this big cosmetics industry. But to say to someone that's a small company starting off that making fragrances in small batches is somehow wrong is just ridiculous to me. Of course, you have to start somewhere. And if you're using the correct chemical compounds, you're correctly blending fragrances, judge the product, not the method, if that makes sense to me. So that's the first thing. Secondly, his stock's never available online. He doesn't sell online. Well, he does. You just have to be aware that because he's a small setup, because he's working essentially on his own with some help, his website displays his product. And if you go on there on a Wednesday or a Saturday, you absolutely can purchase as long as there is stock. Aaron is not making 20 million bottles. He doesn't send his formulas to a massive fragrance factory somewhere in Europe or somewhere in the East and just send them the formula and they mass produce, 20,000 bottles. He's making small batches of high quality fragrance. So don't expect that you'll be able to buy 30, 40, 50 bottles and an endless supply. He's not at that scale yet. Again, judge the product, not necessarily the method in terms of actually is the fragrance good or not. So, recap, if you want to buy Wednesdays and Saturdays, Aaron Terrence Hughes website, I'll pop the link in, but again, be aware it's a small setup that's starting to pick up some pace. That doesn't mean it is going to be of the same ilk as Creed or as Dior or as companies like Amouage. Of course, you're not going to have the packaging, etc. And if you want to pay £20 extra for a solid box like Amouage give you, be my guest. But again, judge the fragrance and the product, not necessarily the method. The fragrance I want to talk about is Aaron's first commercial fragrance, as it were, and it's the most affordable. It is £55 for 50ml. It is Aaron Terrence Hughes Slut. And let's be clear, one thing about the name. I get where the name comes from. I don't really mind it that much. Again, doesn't really bother me. This could be called, Orangewood Absolute, or it could be called Orange, Jasmine and Woods. The name, I get that Aaron talks about his sex range. It's a club fragrance. It's a fragrance that imprints when you warm up, it gets stronger. And we'll talk about the performance in a couple of minutes. Don't be put off by the name. It is a beautiful fragrance, and it's not an aggressive fragrance in that sense, although the name you could be understood for thinking the names otherwise. Packaging wise, I quite like the kind of little nod and homage to Aqua de Parma. I genuinely don't think that Aaron goes out and buys hundreds of fragrances. So when he says that he's not, following any particular house, I genuinely believe that he doesn't spend hours trawling websites or buying thousands of fragrances. But there is a kind of almost an homage to the designing and packaging that Aqua de Parma use. Nice little wooden cardboard sleeve, nothing too over the top. Nice little padded section. The bottom has ingredients. It's nice to see that in terms of the ingredients list, it goes alcohol denate, then perfume. And actually, I don't see water until maybe the 5th or 6th ingredient. So, yeah, it makes me quite happy that it's not kind of water before perfume, which you see in a lot of EDPs. Again, very simple bottle. Again, slightly kind of Aqua de Parma-y. I can smell the fragrance from here. Again, very simple branding, nice, solid, weighty bottle, plastic lid that fits nice, and a good atomizer. I was excited to try this scent, having seen him talk about it with Chris on Fragmental. It is described as kind of thinking about an orange tree. So it opens with neroli and sweet orange. As you get through the fragrance pyramid, there's jasmine, there is petitgrain, which is kind of a woody note. There's musk and other scents in the base. Straight off the top, this has a familiarity to me. And I say that because it reminds me of a very kind of, a very classic scent, very rich scent. It makes me think of opulence. It makes me think of when I was younger and I used to go around kind of country houses in the summertime, me and my family with National Trust English Heritage. And that feeling of being in the back of the car with my parents, driving down the big long roads that would have been drives into big stately homes. And you'd have gardens full of flowers, you'd have kind of wooden lined stately homes, Edwardian houses with carpeting, kind of big wooden tables and chairs and libraries, and then, like I say, mazes and gardens. It brings back really positive memories. And I think that comes from the smell of florals, but also that kind of the woodiness that makes me think of that kind of earthy, woody kind of garden space. But there is absolutely, now Aaron says that there is what he calls a filth compound that men can't smell and women can. Obviously, I don't know if that's true. I know that my partner Lucy, who is quite particular about fragrances, was quite, complimentary of this. In the dry down, you get the jasmine stays there, so the jasmine note begins quite early and kind of continues kind of appearing and reappearing on your way through. This is going to be a weird one. So oud wood. So Tom Ford's oud wood, one of my favourite fragrances, particularly the dry down. If you've ever had a t-shirt or a jumper and you sprayed oud wood the day before and you go back to that jumper, that beautiful, rich, woody smell, this reminds me of it, but there is a beautiful orange that goes with it. So it's a sweet, woody dry down that is super, super gorgeous as a scent. And this is absolutely bottle number 2 worthy. This is absolutely worth more than one bottle. It's a delightful fragrance. There's an earthy dirtiness to it, but it's also got a floral mix. It makes me feel I could wear this summer, winter, spring, autumn. Doesn't make a difference. I think this is a proper all-rounder as well. I've worn it twice. The first time I got it, I sprayed it on my arm just to see what it was like. I wore it 2 days after that. It definitely does project. So Aaron talks about this projecting for up to 4 feet and lasting. Certainly, in terms of creating a scent trail, when I was sat in my lounge, my partner Lucy is working maybe 2.5-3 meters away. As I was talking to her and moved my arm, she could definitely catch wafts of that fragrance. So it definitely does project. And after maybe 2.5 hours, it definitely closes in that projection ring. It gets closer, but if it's designed for to be an intimate fragrance, it's designed to be, in Aaron's words, a sex fragrance. Actually, maybe that's not a bad thing, that actually it's a more personal scent when you really want it to be. Longevity. So I have talked about the fact that my skin kills fragrances. You know, things that are established beast fragrances, Tuscan Leather, Club de Nuit Intense, Rosacea Lukewarm, all of those things, I get what most people would say is moderate performance, 4 or 5 hours, maybe a bit longer, before, you know, I don't get that big overpowering fragrance. This is one of the first fragrances that 7, 8 hours later, it wasn't just a skin scent. I could still, maybe from 4 or 5 inches, catch wafts of the jasmine, catch wafts of the petitgrain and the orange mixed together in that lovely orange woody note. And so I am most impressed with the fact that particularly for Slut, given that it's £55, given that you're getting 50 mils of fragrance, I am genuinely impressed by the quality in terms of the blending. You get a beautiful orange into sweet, jammy, orangey jasmine, down to a lovely jasmine and woody orange fragrance. It's beautifully blended in the way that the notes kind of flow into the base of the fragrance. And genuinely a fragrance that does actually last on skin. It is a genuinely high quality content of oils. I think 20, maybe 25% oils. But you can tell because it definitely lasts. I would strongly urge you, forget the crap you read online. You know, there are people, for whatever reason, that take issue with certain individuals, and if you've lived a life, cool. The past for me is the past. Yeah, of course it gives some context for the future, and it might inform the future, but I couldn't care less whatever Aaron might have had in his history or his past. He's a guy genuinely trying to create a product that is definitely high quality, that is definitely made with care and love, that does what it says on the bottle. Some people complained about delivery. I ordered this on Wednesday at about 10 o'clock. It arrived the next day, Royal Mail recorded, beautifully packaged. I even got somewhere, I don't know if I still got it, I even got a photo of Aaron and his dog and a little handwritten note that said, "Thank you for supporting my work." Handwritten, hand signed, little paw prints from his dog as well. And again, someone that's prepared to put that little bit of extra time in is definitely worth having a little look into. So, you know what, all credit to the guy. He does offers. So I think today, if you were online and looking, I think if you bought 2 50ml fragrances, you got a free 50ml bottle of a separate fragrance that Aaron's done as kind of an inspiration fragrance. Even if you bought 1 bottle, you got 10ml. He talked about the other day that he's buying in larger bulk now because he's getting more purchases, which means he's saving, so he's reduced some of the prices of his fragrances. Anyone that's prepared to do those things and be open about, hey, I'm going to reduce prices because, I think is worth some time, and I don't understand where people get off on maybe saying this person's not genuine. It's nonsense. The guy took time to write a handwritten note to put together a really nice, well-packaged fragrance that does what it's meant to do. It lasts, it smells great, it's a beautiful orange jasmine, woody scent. Definitely worth some time. And also, you know, as a community, right, we want quality fragrances. We want fragrances that last. We complain when Creed or Dior or someone, or, you know, Mugler or whatever, redoes their formulas and the fragrances aren't as strong, they aren't as pungent. So why, when someone is prepared to help reset and balance that out, are we trying to attack them for doing something? Aaron Terrence Hughes, definitely try it out, please. Head over to Fragmental, watch the videos, get a sense of who he is, check his own channel, he does some amazing reviews. You know, the guy has had a past, he's gone and relearned and gone through a chemistry a degree, he's gone and educated himself around the compounds that make fragrances. You know, his own personal circumstances mean that he has a very unique outlook on how he describes and senses things, and that's a good thing in the fragrance world. It offers a level of genuine openness that maybe sometimes we don't always see in reviews and in manufacture. So yeah, go and double check Aaron Terrence Hughes. I'll put the link to this fragrance and his website, to his channel, to Fragmental underneath. But please don't judge people just because you're not, you know, sure what they're doing. Go and investigate. Go and buy a fragrance. If it doesn't work out, get a sample, see what it's like. This has definitely been one of the most exciting purchases I've made, and definitely one that I'm most happy with. So yeah, Aaron Terrence Hughes Slut, a beautifully kind of orange, woody, floral fragrance that's masculine, it's sexy, it's bold, it's rich, it lasts, it projects well. I'm looking forward to wearing it over the kind of spring and summer months. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing where Aaron takes this range of more available fragrances. I think to offer this quality for £55, yes, he's an unknown compared to some others, but I think it's phenomenal value, and I hope to see more affordable fragrances like this, because the quality against the cost, I would rather see him make that the standard and people go to him because they're getting good quality for not stupid money, and see him blossom. So yeah, thanks for sticking around, thanks for joining in. There will be more videos coming. I've got some stuff that I bought that's been sitting there. I haven't had a chance to wear it a lot. I haven't had a chance to review it because of all the work I've been doing. So do hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell so you'll get updates as soon as I upload new videos. Stick around for more fragrances. And yeah, go and check out Aaron Terrence Hughes fragrances, and have a really good afternoon. Thanks for sticking around and joining in. Bye for now.